to the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran player, we have got aLive up against the red Protoss, the top left-hand side, MC. And you're going to see these zones on the map. These are slow zones. They're called inhibitors, some things. They make units move slower. So it really kind of dictates sort of where... And they can't be destroyed either. So it really makes you kind of want to avoid them a lot of the time. We'll see when our first unit runs through so we can get a bit of an idea about how it works. Oh, here we go. Maybe probe, maybe. Going to run through this one. So you're going to get to see the speed loss of the probe as it goes. Whoa! Back into the real time. So MC taking a little bit of time to move through there as they do slow things down a little bit. So it's pretty cool. There's actually going to get to see both of the two of the maps from this section in a row now. So that's just the way the videos have worked out, which is awesome because usually I have to really push hard to get the players to try the challenge maps because they're a bit funky. But apparently not today. Apparently not today. They do not slow attack speed either. So there is just a movement slow. So it's really positionally, it's just positionally based. More so than anything else. What's up, Betamus Max coming in with the 2-minute resub as well. Thank you so much for subscribing. Much appreciated. If you guys are enjoying the stream, don't forget to hit that follow button. See when we go live in the future. We're live all week long with the TLMC. Only day we're not live is going to be Thursday, I think, because it's the exact same time as GSL. So we're not live on Thursday for the TLMC, but we are live today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got some other amazing players lined up for you guys. Rogue, Zest, Sue, Cure. There's some amazing players lined up in this tournament. That was just a selection of 4, but there's a lot. Patience is up in the tournament as well. It's pretty stacked. I think I did a pretty good job of it. A couple of players I couldn't convince to play because of GSL groups and stuff, but otherwise, yeah, this tournament's stacked, and looking forward to bringing it to you over the next week or two. This Reaper actually hides behind this natural mineral line as we are going to be seeing the probe going to be in some trouble. So probe already taking some shots. We'll go down. So that's a nice catch actually as MC losing one worker. Twilight Council is about to finish up here. So Twilight Council finishing in a moment or so. Just doesn't quite grab that probe over on the bottom side. Stalker will come in. Did the Reaper see the Twilight? It must have done, right? Yeah, of course he did, because he came in this way. So he saw the Twilight quite easily there. As you do see, another probe going down. Oh, that was just the scouting probe, of course. Here's me being... I'm even watching the scouting probe down. I'm like, wait, another probe going down? Just looked at the wrong place at the wrong time. My brain's playing tricks on me here today. Gotta get used to these 11 a.m. starts. It doesn't sound early, I know. But when you don't cast 11 a.m. starts a lot, it's, it gets a little bit tough on the brain. It's like, ah! What happens before midday? Oh, it's not even before midday anymore. I don't even have any real excuses. God damn it. Well, 2 gateways coming up from MC on the natural expansion. So getting those started, as you do see the Stalkers just spreading out a little bit on the main base. Looking to catch anything that might be running in here. As the medevac going to start boosting over towards the upper left-hand side. So a little bit of a Hellion drop to start off. Only 3 Hellions. It's still enough to be able to one-shot probes, as we are going to see this medevac moving through. Just dodging around those slowing zones as well, because air units also do get slowed by them. The Hellions running across on the ground. You can see the difference in the slows here again as they go in, they come out. And just setting up to try and run by in towards the natural expansion as these Hellions try and run by in the main. Some Stalkers will start to deal some damage, trying to block the area kind of in as well. And the medevac will be able to load up and get out thanks to the lack of blink. He will keep the medevac alive as he runs by. Ooh, that's not a wall off though. So 3 probes already going down on the low ground, as this will be a few more as well. But with blink, the Stalkers can reposition more easily. And that's only 8 workers killed overall here. And having built 6 Hellions really takes a lot of time on the factory. If this was like 4 Hellions, it'd be like, okay, this is pretty cool. But 6 Hellions takes that little bit longer, so it slows down the follow-up tank and other bits and pieces, which makes me feel as though 8 workers is kind of not terrible. It's that sort of weird point where it is bad to lose 8 workers, don't get me wrong. But obviously, again, you're still stuck with 2 Hellions, which aren't going to help out too much, and some other bits and pieces like that. So, well, we'll see what MC can do, because he's got a Warp Prism out, he's got Blink Stalkers. I mean, if you watched his GSL group the other day, you'd be absolutely terrified of MC with a Warp Prism and Stalkers. Like, he can do some dangerous things, and his micro is insane lately. Oh, he's got an observer about to pop, so he will have an answer to this Banshee in a moment or so. Now, you see 3 workers already going down. Observer pops up here. And you just have, well, obviously Stalkers here, but that's 5 more, 6 more workers going down. This is now starting to become a bit more of an issue, because at this stage, you've really lost quite a lot, actually. You've really lost quite a lot as MC, so the additional workers being lost really costs you, and even trying to take a 3rd base loses 1 more probe. It's not looking great at the minute, as obviously aLive. 3rd CC, his economy is looking fantastic, right? There's nothing slowing him down. And now MC invests in a shield battery on the main base, shield battery on the natural expansion. The Robo Bay will be dropping down here as well on the main. And the expansion just coming around, finds another probe that's just trying to set up the 3rd base. That probe's just trying to make a living. You can see there the Warp Prism getting slowed as well, just to show you guys that it does slow those air units as well. So Warp Prism towards the main. Well, I mean, all the units are still at home from aLive, so if there was a time to attack in from MC of the Prism, probably not really now. I mean, I guess they're not in the main base at least, so there's some potential for damage. But, I mean, it is Stalkers, so they can run around quite nicely and just one-shot some SCVs. And that is what's going to be happening here. A couple of SCVs going down, a couple of Marines taking some hits. Back over towards the Prism, where you can load up and back away. The Raven is so scary as well, something that aLive has introduced at an earlier stage of this game. It means that you have that interference matrix. If you hit a Prism before it loads up, that can be really painful. As MC, let's send 1 extra Stalker here. There's a Siege Tank in position though. He just wants to send this damaged Stalker home and replace it with a healthier Stalker. That was the reason for the warp-in. So that Stalker heading back as the 3rd Nexus on the way up. It's not very often you see a Terran player mining the 3rd base before Protoss though, and that should help to tell you that this is not the prettiest of situations right now, as Stalkers in the main are going to pick off this missile turret, and that's a good kill right there. The other missile turret continuing to take some damage. There's now a couple of Widowvines coming over and taking some shots as well from those Stalkers. Ah, you know what? That's a nice blink in as well. It gets out too. MC finding some good damage with these Stalkers, so doing a good job of this. Another Banshee back across the map, looking for further damage here. This one was the one that actually delayed that 3rd base a little bit, as again, those slow zones are making it just take that a little bit longer. It's going to be interesting to see how that affects the larger armies when they maybe kind of dance around each other, especially, I would say. Obviously, if one army's moving across the map, it will slow an attack, right? But when you kind of got 2 armies that are trying to take a fight, those zones will really affect maybe where you do and where you don't want to be caught. It could have a bit of an impact here. This will probably have to be a recall on the Warp Prism, but too late, I think, with the Vikings coming in. Nah, it's going to die. No chance to recall there. I'm seeing a bit greedy, I think, not to recall that earlier. Maybe just didn't expect Vikings. Maybe thought, you know, I can get past that, no problem. Not the case at all. As this Banshee is not going to kill much because of the shield battery, but does force the Stalkers to pull back a little. Well, not that much of a deal because, you know, it's not like aLive is attacking at the same time. Only 2 Vikings. I mean, he saw the Colossus. I wonder if he's just going to go for an attack where he focuses with the Raven and uses the Raven to drop interference matrices on the Colossus. And with those on the Colossus, they can't fight. They run forwards. They kind of derp around. The rest of your army then overruns, and then there's only Colossus left. That might be the goal here from from aLive. Just because he wasn't building any more Vikings, he went into a couple more medevacs after seeing Colossus. So that does interest me a little bit, because he already had 4 medevacs, which is plenty, I think, because just of how important it is to get rid of Colo. Ghost on the way up here. The double Viking harass is actually surprisingly powerful, because they do 2-shot workers, probes, but he's actually not got them attacking at the same time, which is costing him a little bit, and while Stalkers warping in will blink and kill, so it's a nice shutdown, actually. The shield battery doing its job. Only 1 probe lost. Nice idea from aLive, but good defense from MC. Because here comes this push forwards. I mean, the Raven full of energy. The Ghosts on the way out still aren't here. Also hasn't brought the tanks into play. Looks like it'll be a large drop into the main base. And MC will have to come and respond to this. So drop them straight up into the main. Pretty exposed if you don't take this base here. It's something to keep in mind. We might see that throughout the tournament, different bases being taken on these maps. Through these gates getting empowered. +2 armor on the Forge empowered, but will not be lost, so can keep the progress on that. As the blink in will clean up one of the medevacs. A couple of Widowmines just left over. The sim into the 3rd base is going to be really costly though. Coming straight in here, a bunch of probes going down. Colossus continue to move down the ramp. A couple of Marauders are cleaned out. And we are going to be seeing the Force Field dropping down, blocks that bio off. And we're just going to see the rest of the Marines and Marauders continue to drop down there. Nexus will drop into place as well in the 3rd base. And those Stalkers from MC still just sat up in the main. Again, a little bit of bio from aLive, just sat around 2. As you see, a few more High Templar just warping in at the moment. I mean, there's a loss of a third base, though. It's so expensive. MC going to have to take some really, really good fights and really minimize taking any further damage at this point if he's going to want to make this work, because those couple medevacs still hanging around on the top side of this. Trying to move forwards, then he scans. He's like, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. And I don't really disagree. Probably shouldn't go in there. Not the prettiest of positions. Well, Storm is on the way up, though, still, and we see the Viking back in play. Oh, excuse me for coughing a little bit here, guys. Back in play on this low ground. The Stalker takes a lot of damage, man. Vikings are so good against probes and Stalkers. Again, bonus damage versus mechanical. And, well, we don't get to see Vikings versus mech units a lot. Although sometimes, you know, in PvT, you see, like, Vikings versus tanks. They can be kind of useful as well, so it's kind of like a bonus that we don't see. I feel as though we never really talked about it, like, 6 months ago and stuff, but now we kind of talk about it a lot, and it's like, okay, cool, you know, there's something which has really become a part of the game that's very influential, and those Vikings are very big, and, you know, they do a lot nowadays, you know, they help out, they can land, they can become useful again. It's awesome. Alright, well, MC is currently 163 supplied to a maxed out aLive. Again, I feel like in a maxed out fight, MC has potential, it's just getting maxed out. And then he has to still take a very good fight, because otherwise aLive is going to have the the rebuild potential here. Stalker's pulled back. I think he saw those medevacs. Maybe he didn't. He warps in Zealots. He's definitely waiting for these drops to come in. Has High Templar position there as well as the army coming around. Pushing up this little ramp and down is obviously a little bit difficult because of these zones. So you're kind of forced into this area here, which makes it kind of easy to defend this forward position for MC. Those drops will not go into the main scans and seize High Templars and Zealots, so MC safe in the main base for the moment. Now the Ghost's going to try and lead. MC has his High Templars very far held back though, and well split. High Templars now running forwards though. They dropped a couple of swords, but then got hit by EMPs. Oh, he moves a high energy Templar into an Archon as well, which is not the way this is meant to go. I don't think this is quite going the way MC wanted it to. He's bringing units down from the main base. There's a Storm. Vikings landing will buffer a little bit. Extra Zealots warping in. Well, it's not over yet, but those Zealots warping in and coming forwards, man. They're very tanky against most of the only Marauders remaining. High Templar feedback the medevacs to take away some extra healing as well. The Archons are still dealing damage, and MC is somehow going to turn this army away, and not even only just, he has units left to spare. What a defense by MC. When the fight didn't even seem to be going that well for him either, mistake by morphing a High Templar that had a Storm on it into an Archon too, that turned into a hell of a hold. I think a lot of it was just because this army was so Marauder heavy. You just do not have the damage output you need against Zealots, and that becomes very, very painful. It becomes very, very painful. Alright, well, Stalkers and Archons hanging out here. As you see the bio dropping into the main base. We're going to start picking away some of these gateways and so on. So, and again, dealing some damage. The counter drop is what stops MC from being able to counterattack and so on. He's a little bit of a tough spot here because the Maraud's obviously very good against the heavier Stalker count. High Templar has the Storm, and that Storm very deadly against those low health units. Nice feedback too, gets the medevac. Zealots across the map, find a few STVs, but also sees that this is now a mass of Ghosts and Liberators. A few Zealots just hanging out over the side. As we do see the couple of Ghosts continue to run around here. Nice snipes just to clean up a little bit here. Just making some use of these units. We see the Ghosts going forwards. A little bit exposed on their own. The Liberators are going to be very good. That's a dead High Templar as well. Just reaching over. Oh, since the Stalker's in to get, I think the damaged Lib, but doesn't quite find it. MSC losing out a little bit at the moment. As we're going to see those Ghosts coming forwards. Oh my god, big EMP. Cloaked up. There's no detection available. Dropping into the main again. I mean, in the end, MC just doesn't have the economy to continue forward. He drops some Storm, types out GG, and aLive Tokyo Turbo Cruise 84. Kick this off as we have down to the bottom left-hand side. The blue Protoss player. This is MC. He is down a game as we have to the top right-hand side of the map. The red Terran aLive. Okay, so game number 2, and it just feels like we got a couple of little clips and bops here, guys, in terms of connection to Korea. The connection's been very good so far today. So hopefully it holds out. It might just be this one little game that's clipping up a little bit. Hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So getting this going, and so far we're seeing a gateway being added on here. And just obviously going through the early stages. I'm going to talk about the map in just a second, guys. Just want to make sure something is set up. Perfect. Alright. So let's have a little bit of a look at the map. So main base, pretty regular. Obviously we've got these slowing zones, which is designed to really slow a push straight through the center. Which I think is a very cool way to use these. You know, we've seen different ways of kind of making the short rush distance a little bit more, or a little less appealing, while still making it an option. So obviously in this map, putting the zones in, you know, for example, Old Reina was that map where you had, like, the short rush distance was super narrow to move across, and it had a choke point. So it does make this interesting. We saw it on some of the earlier maps as well, where we've seen the choice to go into kind of like the mineral patches in the middle of the map to block off and stuff like that as well. Now we do see this Reaper popping out. It is a proxy, racks, and factory. And again, just want to point out, if we do see some faster maps today, they will be prioritized to be seen again. We're keeping track of that. So we'll see how this goes. Obviously looks pretty aggressive from aLive to get started here in game number 1. Well, we're going to be seeing the probes, a couple of them going down. And we are going to be seeing Reaper continuing for some damage to get 3 workers so far. Oh my god, MC. Losing another probe. It's actually going to turn this into a Marauder as the Stalker very narrowly gets the Reaper. 4 workers already lost. Really, really hurts here though. MC will get his natural up. I mean, the factory finish going into a tech lab. I imagine the combo that he's probably looking for at the moment is some sort of Marauder sort of Cyclone setup, so you can slow the units with the Marauders, and the Cyclones can then stay locked on very easily. Macfield Accelerate on the way, Concussive Shells coming up. And again, the Robo Facility just dropping down on the far right side. Now we see MC going to proxy a little bit himself here. So, the big issue of that is he adds 3 extra gates, and there's only 1 gas. He just wants a Prism. The issue of this is, I like the idea of it, but he probably isn't expecting a Cyclone to come in on this side either. He's really not going to have very much to defend at home. But the Terror's going to have nothing to defend at home either, so it's going to create a very interesting base trade. SCV's coming across the map super slowly as they get slowed down. Now back into action. Well, first Stalker going to go down pretty fast here. The issue is you need to keep the gateways alive, right, and powered. And aLive's not going to waste any time at all, as there's only 1 pylon on each of the gates that are powered at the moment. It's going to be brutal. Probes have to pull into this. That pylon goes down. 3 Stalkers to fight. I mean, we see the first Reaper going down. Probes really helping to push this back a little bit. SCV still on the high ground. And a couple of them going down as they are kind of left behind there. MC will have extra warpins available, but obviously he hasn't been mining for a little bit, so that hurts him too. Concussive Shells is so good against these Stalkers. He's just going to create so much micro potential, of course, for aLive, as MC feels as though he didn't really... everything didn't really go as intended for MC, and that's aLive taking game number 2 and a 2-0